Hello, this is Breakfast with John Kay and Sally Nugent.
Just after 8:30. Thank you for joining us here on Monday morning. Now, in the 2 years since they first met, the three dads, Andy, Mike and Tim, have walked hundreds of miles together and they've raised more than £1 million in memory of their daughters.
They've now successfully petitioned for there to be a debate in Parliament on whether suicide prevention should be made a compulsory part of the school curriculum. Our reporter Alison Freeman has been following their story.
As they finished their last walk, the number of signatures shot up. The three dads had set up a petition calling for MPs to make suicide prevention a compulsory subject on the national curriculum. The dads, Tim, Andy and Mike, had been brought together by the deaths of their daughters, Emily, Sophie and Beth. Each had taken their own life.
The biggest risk to young people's lives are themselves. Suicide is the biggest killer of young people. Over 200 school-aged children take their own lives each year. So if that's the biggest risk in their lives, why aren't we talking to them about it?
It's been a long journey for the dads in more ways than one. In 2021, they walked 300 miles between their three homes in Cumbria, Greater Manchester and Norfolk to highlight the risk suicide poses to young people, gaining attention from the likes of Daniel Craig and Nicole Kidman, who each donated £10,000 to the suicide prevention charity Papyrus. And last year, they walked 600 miles between all four UK parliaments to persuade MPs to back their calls for suicide prevention to be taught to every child. The support from Hollywood there once again.
Andy, Mike, Tim, just incredible. What you achieved last time around and what you're about to do now is just truly, truly heroic. I'm sending you love and my best wishes. Shout loudly, I know you'll be heard. All my very best. Good luck.
And they were backed by other famous faces from the world of entertainment and sport.
You know, in all fairness, we don't want the fittest, do they?
The day they finished that second challenge, the petition reached the 100,000 signature point, which meant the government had to consider debating it. And that debate is taking place later today.
They have moved a long way over the last 10 years to get a lot of mental health issues addressed, but the word suicide's not mentioned in the curriculum.
Do you think it would have made a difference to your life?
The thing is, if Soph had been at school and had some kind of training in suicide prevention or suicide awareness, and she'd arrived at home as a teenager and we'd had a really challenging conversation about it, I would rather have that have happened and had that conversation than to stood up at a funeral and deliver a eulogy.
And whilst this is only the first step towards a change in legislation, for the dads, it's most definitely another step in the right direction. Alison Freeman, BBC News.
And they've made it to Parliament, inside Parliament, joined now live on Breakfast by the three dads, Andy Airy, Mike Palmer and Tim Owen. Good morning to all three of you. It's good to see you.
Good morning.
Andy, you're there. You're in Parliament where you wanted to be. What does that mean to you?
It's just quite odd, really, and very surreal. You know, we didn't choose to be on this journey at all. You know, we're only here because our daughters took a terribly rash decision, and we've ended up going down a route and finding out so many different things as we've gone along. You know, it's hard to believe how we've got here, never mind why, but here we are. And looking forward to this afternoon, you know, to actually get to listen to the MPs talking about what we've been pushing for to get suicide prevention added to the school curriculum. It's going to be a real massive step forward.
And Mike, we've documented your journey to this day. Here you are, but for people who are watching at home that might imagine that something will change today, again, it's quite a slow process, isn't it? Just explain to us what the next step is and what will happen this afternoon.
Well, we hope to get a very positive outcome today. I mean, nothing will be finalised, but if we get some positive words in the debate, I mean, that would be very powerful. There is a view of the PSHE curriculum coming up very soon, and we hope this may be a part of it. So it's all progress, it's going in the right direction, and we'll keep pushing.
I've no doubt you'll keep pushing. We've seen how tenacious all three of you are. Tim, if I could turn to you as well. I mean, do you feel like, as you stand there in Westminster, inside Parliament, MPs about to debate, as you wanted them to, do you feel like you're being heard?
We're obviously being heard because they are listening to us and they are talking to us about it, and we've met several MPs privately around how much they will support us. It's whether collectively they support us, and the mood music is feeling positive at the moment. So all three of us are quite optimistic.
Yeah. Well done for handling that bell there. I think you have to get used to that in Parliament, don't you? They're ringing all the time for votes and fire alarm practices, but I guess you're going to have to spend quite a lot of time there today. It's not just the debate that happens, but you'll be meeting with MPs as well. There's another one, Andy.
Yeah, I think they've realised we're here. They've sent an alarm off.
You are allowed to be there, aren't you?
Yes. Well, I've got to say, Alison Freeman, your colleague, assures us that we're allowed to be here.
Not security.
So we're taking her word for it.
So, Andy, just explain to us again what these changes might mean for kids who are at school and what they need to start talking about, what the language is.
Well, the thing we realised after the first walk, when so many parents said to us, we only found out suicide to be a killer of young people, and why aren't we talking about it? It was only then we looked at the school curriculum and realised there's a lot of really good stuff in there, and things have changed since we were at school, particularly around mental health and wellbeing issues. But it was blatantly obvious that suicide and suicide prevention wasn't mentioned. And the thing that stuck out for us was if suicide's the biggest killer for young people, surely we need to talk to them about it. If that's the biggest risk in their lives, we need to speak to them. So we've talked to so many people now since, a lot of teachers, a lot of charities. I had the great pleasure of actually being with Every Life Matters at Cumbrian Charity when they were delivering suicide prevention lessons up at Alston earlier on this year. Oh no, just before Christmas, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it's not complicated. It is challenging and it is a difficult subject, but what we're asking to see is are age-appropriate lessons delivered from the very earliest age, not necessarily initially talking about suicide, but looking at help-seeking behaviour and encouraging our young people and training them to be able to reach out for help when things are difficult and hard. But then building on that right through school and actually talking about suicide and talking about the biggest risk in their lives, because if we don't talk to them about it, they'll sure as damn it find out through some other means. They'll be looking in their mobile devices, and that's not the way for our young people to be taught about suicide and suicide prevention. So we need to do it. We need to do it as a society, we as parents and grown-ups, to actually grow up and talk about it.
Yeah. I think we've got a statement here from the government who say that they welcome the work that the three of you are doing to raise awareness of what they call this important issue. They say that schools can teach older pupils about suicide in an age-appropriate and sensitive way. And it does sound from the statement that you say that they're looking at the curriculum at the moment, Mike. Do you get the sense that there could be an open door here, that you might get what you're calling for?
Yes, I really do. There's a lot of, on the replies we've had from the Department of Education, there's a lot of can and might and things like that. We need to make it compulsory, because schools can make up their own minds, but we need to get a standard across the board. And yes, we do think there's an open door, and I think it's a logical thing to do. We invest in our young people, give them the life skills they need, and they will grow up into resilient, happy adults.
Mike, can you just explain, so you want it to be compulsory, but schools can make up their own mind. So how does that work?
No, we want it to be compulsory, absolutely compulsory. At the moment, schools can make up their own mind.
Right.
And some schools are very proactive.
Yeah, I see.
And Tim, before we let you go and get on with your day, I think we have to ask you, for anyone who's struggling this morning, parent, child, young person, what are the first steps? How do you ask for help? What's the language we should be using?
For that help-seeking behaviour, it's to admit that you need help, and there's help out there. You know, Papyrus has got Hopeline UK. It's available for the parents. It's available for individuals, young people to call, and the suicide prevention trained specialists on the other end of a phone, so help is a phone call away. And Papyrus is just one of many brilliant charities across the country that offer that sort of support. The key thing is to realise you're not, there is hope for you out there, and you can ask for help.
OK, well, look, we wish the three of you well. Thank you for joining us this morning. You've got a busy day ahead, and more walking planned, Andy, in the future?
Oh no, that would be giving it away, wouldn't it?
Watch this space.
Oh.
I think we might be hearing from you soon. Take care. Thanks all of you.
Yeah, hopefully give us an update as soon as you can. Thank you, everyone there.